now that the Supreme Court has ruled against DOMA and has decided to dismantle Proposition 8 in California, a few state representatives are feeling empowered to change laws in their states regarding same-sex marriage. One of those representatives is Representative Patricia Todd in Alabama. And Alabama is one of those states that has a ban on same-sex marriage, but she is going to be a warrior and fight against that so the state changes its mind. And it's going to be really difficult for her to do that because, as you can imagine, Alabama is a very conservative state. She says the following: the reality is, unfortunately in Alabama, the only way we can ever progress any civil rights in this state is through a court decision. This is no different. We will have to use that process to move forward. So she is planning on taking this all the way to the Supreme Court. I don't know if it's going to get to that point, but hopefully it will. And I think that she brings up a good point, and it's a point that's been brought up a lot since yesterday's ruling. There needs to be something done federally to protect same-sex marriage. And I know that there's this whole argument about states' rights, but my argument to that would be that this is a civil rights issue. These are people that are born with the sexuality that they have, and I think that it is against our Constitution to discriminate against them based on their sexuality.
Well, I agree. Unfortunately, based on the actual ruling, the actual text in the ruling, we are now less likely to see some sort of federal protection for same-sex marriage than we were before yesterday. Because they did say that, you know, that DOMA violated certain equal protection clauses, and that could be used as an argument for federal action to protect same-sex marriage. But unfortunately, they also made very clear that the Supreme Court currently considers that to be a state matter. And so unfortunately, we're even less likely now, which is terrible. I
know, that is terrible, but I hate that part of the ruling because, again, it's a civil rights issue. It's not a states' rights issue. I don't think that any state should be able to discriminate against a group of people based on something that they're born with.
Yeah.
And some people might make the argument that, hey, gay people choose their sexuality, and they're wrong.
Yeah.
So
certain people make the case that the earth is flat. We don't allow those people to control the destiny of the most powerful country in the history of the world.
Exactly.
But yeah, there's so much stupidity, specific to Alabama here, unfortunately. So you know that they enshrined in their Constitution. But previously, the law had been that gays could not get married. Then they added it recently to the Constitution with 81% voting to add to the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's just horrible. And look, I love our viewers from Alabama, but you should probably consider moving to another state.
Oh, I agree with that, but at the same time, I will say that, I mean, if you look back, that vote happened in 2006. And 2006 was a world ago for the gay rights movement. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Alabama at all. I think that it's wrong, but I think that public opinion, even in a conservative state like Alabama, must have shifted at least a little bit.
Yeah.
81% is like, you know, of the vast majority. I'd like to think that it's gotten a little better.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that we will see continued evolution on this issue in different states, but I think that Alabama, possibly Mississippi, like it's gonna be one of those things where every other state passes it, and then 2 decades later, people act right in those states.